Welcome back to Australian Mania. It's the only wrestling podcast called Australian Mania. I'm your host, Ricky Needs, as always, joined by Michael Thompson.
Hello.
And David Yang.
Hello.
What's going
on? Another day, another week in wrestling. Just living life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Living life.
How
are you, Ricky?
I'm alright.
Go tell everyone how your day was.
My day was fine. I got woken up at midday by you guys, which is too early for me.
Didn't even watch SmackDown.
No, I didn't watch SmackDown. You know what?
You missed the greatest show of the week.
I don't give a fuck at the moment.
To be fair, he missed a great
WWE
segment in history.
WWE, look, they're spinning their wheels. Like, honestly, tell me they're not spinning their wheels right now.
Define spinning their wheels.
Well, actually,
They're spinning their wheels. Like they're.
Oh yeah, okay.
Sorry. Defining spinning their wheels. They have the Australian show coming up, which if it's fully booked right now, if that's all we're getting, then they got nothing else to do for, let's say Finn Balor, for example, Sasha Banks, for example, Bayley, for example. They got nothing for them to do until Evolution, which is another full month away. After that, a week after that, you got Crown Jewel. Going to be talking a bit about that later.
and we've also got Liv Morgan as well, which
we'll touch on that.
Yeah,
touch on that.
just don't ruin the flow. Don't kill the flow.
Ricky's in his moment.
He's in the
fucking
sorry.
moment right now. Then we got Crown Jewel, and then after that we got Survivor Series and the whatever the fuck they're doing, Starcade Network special. Problem is, when you got too much to do, you got too many fingers and too many fucking pies, and all it feels like is they're just going nowhere with anything. Nothing is progressing. The only real thing that progressed on Raw was the Dean Ambrose thing, and that was actually a fucking good through line for the entire episode, and that harkens back to the Attitude Era days where you would have that through line of an episode, like one story going through and then just stuff happening around that. That worked really well. But for the most part, SmackDown, once again, spinning its wheels, not doing anything really different, not expanding on stories, not pushing stories along. And it just, I'm so fucking bored with it at the moment. It's really annoying. And then you switch over to something like New Japan, who had a really fucking good week this week. And we had huge developments for Chaos. The main event scene there is just blown wide open in the last 2 months. And we have a new guy who 12 months ago was just coming up and starting to make waves. And in that 12 months, they've managed to make this guy a legit main event contender with the main booker of the company and one of the only on-screen managers you really get with New Japan backing him to go forward as the next guy, the next ace, the next Okada for New Japan. And that's just that is the disparity I'm feeling right now is just New Japan, when they do these micro tours, and you actually brought it up to me, you weren't that impressed with Kenny's run as champ. And I will say, my big comeback was, well, they don't run that weekly, every week the champ's coming on TV having a match, because they do the stuff where you have shows specific to certain parts of the company. So you have Best of Super Juniors, you have the Tag League, you have King of Pro Wrestling, all these things where they still put the focus on different parts of the company, but parts that they find to be equal to every other part of the company as well. So
I was memeing, but
I know, but
but no, you're right.
Yeah.
But then it mirrors exactly what I keep saying with Raw, and I'll pay that. It's every time I look at the Raw and I go, there's a problem when it comes to their world championship scene, where it's he's there every single week, right? And that's and people shut on Brock for doing the opposite, but I put that over to a certain degree because that's what New Japan does right.
Not really. Thing is, Kenny's always there, but he's not always in a singles match. He has the tag matches with either Golden Lovers or some version of Bullet Club. He's always has a presence at these shows.
Yeah, Brock did.
He just doesn't have to be the focal point of every single show. So this Destruction in Kobe we just had was the IWGP shot at Wrestle Kingdom up for grabs, Tanahashi versus Okada.
Yeah.
Fantastic match. Of course you're going to get fantastic matches. Two of the best in the world. Duh. But Kenny didn't need to be the focal point. The shot to go after Kenny's belt was 100% the focal point, but he wasn't, because he still has championship matches going between now and Wrestle Kingdom. So it's not, in kayfabe, not guaranteed he's going to be in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. But he had the match because this Destruction tour has been I think 4 or 5 dates in the last 2 weeks. So he had his championship match at Destruction Hiroshima against, I think it was Hiroshima, it was one of them. One of the Destructions against Ishii. Fantastic fucking match. Of course it's Kenny. But, so he got that night. Shoot forward a week, and you've got the number one contendership as the focal point of that night. They find a way to incorporate all of their talent, not only just main event, mid card and lower card, at all times in those multi-man tags, which, if you look at it from like an overbooking perspective, they do it a lot. But it's a way to get everyone on the show. They're usually very different and always have different combinations of people because you have that faction type.
I was just about to say that.
In things, so you can have a
That's the
Chaos
thing.
V. You can have Chaos V. Like LIJ 3 times in a night, but it's 3 different
Exactly.
like,
And
parts
that's how
of each of those groups.
and it seems to be what WWE is trying to sprinkle into their product now.
A little bit, yeah.
Right? But the
You got
way
Dogs
New
of
Japan
War, Shield.
Yeah. But the way New Japan does it, and it's I noticed it so very frequent recently rather with Naito when they're talking about the fact that Takahashi, is it?
Takahashi, yeah.
Takahashi's done with his neck recently,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we no longer have a middleweight
Yeah.
or a light heavyweight. It's like, well, we need to find someone now.
Yeah.
Right? So the way that they cater their factions
You need
is
one.
per weight level.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like you can have these shows always structured around, either the world championship or any of these other kind of things. But at the end of the day, they always come down to faction warfare.
It does.
It's always about faction warfare.
But then you
So-
have in-faction warfare, which is even more fun, which is what
Yeah.
we're getting now with Chaos.
It's what we're getting now with Chaos.
So, like,
Chaos
anyone
is
hasn't-
fine.
if anyone hasn't seen it, this is spoilers for Destruction in Kobe. After the match, Tanahashi v Okada. Fantastic match. Tanahashi retains the briefcase for the shot at Wrestle Kingdom. Switchblade comes out,
Yes.
lays out Tanahashi. And we're thinking, all right, Chaos Boy's protecting his leader. Then he goes after Okada. Then, probably the most unfortunate part of the night, Yoshihashi comes out. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Trips on the ramp at
Yeah.
the bottom, face plants into the apron, concusses himself very badly, still manages to get in the ring, but he is punch drunk. Like, he stands up and you're just like, oh, that dude ain't right. The blood just pouring out of his face. Jay still goes after him because it's fucking Switchblade Jay White. He doesn't give a fuck. Manages to get him out of the ring, I think probably sooner than it was originally booked. But then does like one of the best fucking things I've seen in a while. Goes out of the ring, like wipes his hand across Yoshi's forehead, and then like smears blood across his own forehead and cheek. It's like, for a visual, fuck yeah, Jay White, you're a beast. I love you. Comes back in the ring, goes over after Okada again. They're ringing the. I love that thing when they do it. Like they just ring the bell over and over again. Like all the young boys come in, lays out all the fucking young boys, and then motherfucking Gato comes down. And everyone's like, "What? Okay, what's he gonna do?" Him and Okada parted ways before G1. Respectful though. They were like, "I don't need. Like, I think I can do this without you now." Gato's like, "Yeah, no worries." Comes out. I think at this point Jay had a chair. Was about to fucking like wail on Okada. Gato comes out, grabs the chair. You think it's all good, and then he does the Seth Rollins. He waits till Okada's back's turned, and then bang, just fucking lays him out and cuts a promo. Bit in English, bit in Japanese, but essentially he's putting over Switchblade as the next big guy in New Japan.
Which I'm so happy for.
I know. Look,
I'm so happy for.
going into G1, I was like, this has to be his star-making performance. He beat both Okada and Tanahashi at the G1, and that was like Gato's, like the reason for his promo was like, Jay has beat both of these guys. These two guys are losers now. They don't have the same like potential as what Jay White has at this point, and he ends it with breathing the Switchblade, which is Jay White's new thing. But yeah, it's just that sort of booking where it's like you just don't see that sort of shit coming, and because it's just like Destruction isn't one of their bigger tours, it's one of the sort of smaller ones to kill time before King of Pro Wrestling and Wrestle Kingdom, but you can just end a night with an angle like that pushed is just like, that's fucking awesome. That's what you need. And I just feel like compared to that, WWE just really feels like it's just spinning its wheels and it doesn't progress stories that far between these shows. And the fact that we've got so many shows just so close together means that they can only progress a story so far just to get to that next match, to get to that next pay-per-view, because you can't progress a story too far.
And that's become their Achilles heel over the course of this year as well.
Exactly. And that's why I think that getting rid of the monthly individual shows is going to hurt it in the long run, because you don't have enough spot on these pay-per-views to have everyone's story told. That way, fucking we talked about it. Hell in a Cell, no Finn, no Sasha, no Bayley.
We went over this last week.
Like,
I
it's-
said,
it's-
120 wrestlers on the mains.
Yeah, so you're going to have people miss out. And
It sucks.
I think that as much as it doesn't really make sense in this day and age because we have access, because there's something like the network. But back in the day when we had the first brand split, and there was only one pay-per-view per month, but they alternated months.
Yeah.
So you would have 2 months to build to the next pay-per-view on each brand.
Yeah.
And then obviously you'd have the big four were still cross-promotion ones. But for the most part, 8 of the 12 pay-per-views each brand performed were individual, only pay-per-views, and they had months to build. Like, they had weeks to build to it. You can't do that now.
No.
I don't think. I think people would then complain, oh, Raw's or SmackDown is just, once again, spinning its wheels, waiting that 2 months to get to that next story, waiting to get to that next pay-per-view.
But it sounds like when you're talking about this, the problem is the fact that they have week in, week out trying to do always progression.
No.
And you're saying maybe if they had a little bit more time.
No, I'm saying like they
Right.
need to find a meeting. Like, I think 2 months is too long, but then I think that like only
A month is too short? Like, what is...
well, it's not even but like it's really not been a month.
It's just this time of year.
It is this time of year?
It's this time of year because it's just unfortunate that they've kind of double booked themselves triple booked themselves really.
month after month. Like
No, but this in particular, it's Showdown, and then 2 weeks later it's Evolution, then 2 weeks later it's Crown Jewel, then 2 weeks later it's Survivor Series. It's
Yeah.
like that's unfortunate this time of year.
Yeah.
It's not normally like that, right?
I know.
And this is where I agree with you. It's like because they're treating Showdown as it's kind of live show, but kind of pay-per-view, it's like it's going to have story, and it's going to have people wanting to see shit there.
do you think that maybe one of these shows just shouldn't be on the network? Say Crown Jewel, say our show, say
I think Crown Jewel more so because
Yeah.
it's a week after.
They've already done it.
Yeah,
They've already done exactly. They've already done it.
it's a week after the women's pay-per-view as well. So it's sort of it's sort of it's gets the spotlight away from the women and then
does.
go, you know what? Remember, the women's one was good, but you got to realize there's the men's one next weekend.
especially when there's like rumors of like HBK's coming back. There was a rumor this week.
Exactly, they're
that
stacking
Hogan
it.
is coming back.
Yeah, they're stacking it.
No, that's not. That's actually the perfect place for him to come back.
This is what happens when the Saudis get involved in
Yeah, it's.
shares with the company.
I just. I'm just annoyed. I'm a bit like. Oh, I think I'm a bit worn out from the amount of wrestling that's been going on, and like, I love it because it gives us content to talk about, and it's good.
I was gonna say,
like,
dude, you're on a wrestling podcast.
I know.
Man.
Look,
It's the last thing we all
it's,
should be
it's
complaining about.
honestly great for us because we have something to talk about every week. But I feel like the majority of like WWE stuff lately, except for like say SummerSlam and Hell in a Cell, 2 fantastic pay-per-views that did their job. They did the exact job they needed to do. They came out, they entertained. It was match after match after match. It was none of this sort of in
True,
between.
because we're talking about this now, but then when we really think about it,
the
when
last 2 pay-per-views.
yeah,
have been really
when
good.
we really think about it, when
have.
they've had the pay-per-views on, they've been fucking excellent.
They have.
Like they've been fucking
I
excellent.
mean, the
pay-per-views.
SmackDown stories have been good. The Raw one's been up and down.
The Raw ones have been, undoubtedly have been interesting. The one
when-
Raw one.
but when you have-
because this like we said last week, that's my problem with Raw.
When you
It's
have-
one story,
When you have Seth on Raw, it's always going to be good.
but it's one story. It is one story on Raw.
At the
SmackDown has
moment-
like 3 or 4, right? But at the moment, it is literally just everything plays into that one story.
the Shield
Yeah.
and
That
ancillary
is-
stuff surrounding the Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There's
fair enough.
nothing happening in the IC scene. Very
'Cause
little
it's taken
happening
up
in
by
the
the-
tag scene, which is actually still taken up by the main event scene because
Yeah.
the 2 guys there
I mean,
are with Braun.
All the belts are taken up by that
That's
one feud.
it, and that's
Yeah.
what we said last week. That's
Yeah.
why, like, I can understand with Raw, it's like I'm kind of done with it, right? Because there's no disparity between all these different stories. It's one story.
I will say
It's
this,
like I
though,
can watch the start of Raw and get a gist of how it's all going to go.
the one thing I will mention though is that SmackDown have a lull in their mid-card division as well because Nakamura is being used for F4 at the moment when it comes to defending the championship and all that, which is why I thought it would have been smart to have the strap put on Randy Orton or Jeff Hardy so that they can use that for the Hell in the Cell match.
Yeah,
And Nakamura still isn't booked for
that match didn't
Super
need it.
Showdown either.
yeah. No,
Do you
you're right.
think
There.
do you think there's going to be a like a men's battle royal?
What a showdown!
Yeah, I think that's like that. Unless they're not just not bringing them across at all. Like if what we
I
have,
don't know, man. It's
It
so
should be for the
interesting.
Paul Hogan Cup.
Because what matches are announced? What match we got? The
So-
WWE title match.
No,
Yep.
no.
We got
Oh, sorry, yeah, WWE
Yeah,
title
the
match.
WWE title match. We
Lynch
got
and Flair.
Miz, Lynch and Flair Miz and Bryan.
for the number one contendership winner.
SmackDown tags are on the line.
Raw tags
Aren't.
No,
Raw
aren't on
tags
the line.
aren't because they're fucking caught up in their
Because
big-
you got the Shield versus Dogs
which
of
also
War.
means the Universal title isn't on the line, the IC title isn't on the line,
Nope.
and the
Tag
Raw tag title isn't on the line.
Nope.
And
Right?
then Triple H Undertaker, which is the
Triple H Taker
the,
is
ma-
5.
the big build, which everyone's
Yep.
that's
Then
what
you
they're
got
pushing.
The 6-man is that one. Then
Yep.
you got the Cena and Bobby Lashley versus Owens and
Elias.
And Elias. So that's 7 matches right now.
And then there's
Cruiserweight.
still the Cruiserweight title.
Cruiserweight, which
And
we're
then-
hoping is going to be on the main.
And then there's also a
Probably
bit of
not.
concern,
Oh, yeah,
which I'll
the
get to very, very shortly
Oscar
as well.
and Natalia versus the Iconics.
Yeah.
Oscar and Naomi versus
Sorry,
Iconics.
Naomi.
Yeah. Oscar and Naomi versus the Iconics, which
I've-
will probably be pre-show, but that's 9.
Oh, and then Rousey and the Ballas versus Riot Squad.
I've got a bit of news regarding that a little bit shortly.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Brie Bella, learn how to fucking kick.
And going on to news. What a segue.
Jesus Christ.
So, if you
Did
guys
you hear that?
No, I didn't hear it.
Got new music.
new music,
You got
yeah,
new music for the news.
All right, go on.
because why not?
Proceed.
So, for those who are trying to catch up as well, I will mention Raw's ratings very, very shortly because it's not looking good as we spoke about just then. But it's been confirmed by WWE that Liv Morgan has suffered a concussion and potentially may not be able to compete in a 6-women tag match at Super Showdown. Her return to the ring is unknown at this point. Which is really sad. She's currently undergoing the company wellness program in order to get cleared before competing again, but at the moment, it's not looking good for Liv, which is unfortunate.
Damn it, Daniel Bryan. It's his fault that it's such a long process.
Speaking of Raw, guys, Raw have received their lowest ratings in history. In history.
You want to know why?
Is it because Brock wasn't on the show?
Damn it!
In history.
No, I think it's just because, like, after him coming back and then, like, the reason for him coming back revealed on Raw the next night was the dumbest thing ever.
Yep.
People were just like, well, fuck this.
Yeah.
And then they're gone. Which is fair enough because fuck that.
So the ratings that they got was 2.35 million, which is almost Impact ratings from 2014, 2015, 2016. That's how bad the ratings were.
Well,
Speaking of former Impact superstars, AJ Styles has come out on Busted Radio Open and has admitted why he left Impact in 2016. The real reason was that Impact cut his pay by 60%
because it was shit.
because they couldn't afford to keep him. So
Fair enough.
Styles went on a bit of a tirade and said to Impact, I've got a family. You don't understand. You were giving me all this money. Now you're giving me little money at the moment to support my family.
Oh, he's just pushing that in his storyline with Joe right now. It's all about his family. He's a family man.
And speaking of former Impact stars, James Storm was spotted last week at the Performance Center in NXT. Now, you guys realize
Don't read too much into that, Mike.
So, James
Who
Storm
cares?
was part of the NXT or the Impact invading NXT of 2016, where we saw, Samoa Joe join, AJ Styles join the main roster, Eric Young made an appearance, James Storm made 3 or 4 appearances for NXT. So, at that point in time, he wasn't sort of keen at the point in time. It's like Triple H brought a contract to him and said, we're happy for you to sign this. He said no for the fact that he had a family to go to and he didn't want to be too far away from it. So Triple H and James Storm have said, you know what, we'll meet again in about 2 years and we'll talk about it. There is talk now that James Storm may be signing a deal with NXT and moving his family down to Florida as well and the Performance Center. So the Cowboy could be getting his long-awaited opportunity to perform regularly in front of the NXT crowd.
Speaking of NXT, Matt Riddle debuted.
He also did too. Matt Riddle
house
did
show.
debut.
Debu's a debut.
Yeah.
Matt Riddle's in the WWE system.
But
It's
yeah,
a good moment.
Doesn't he still have a farewell show to do somewhere? He's got like one more indie booking before he's like on TV properly.
Yeah, and I was thinking this the other day as well. I saw isn't Tony Storm signed to WWE as well? I know it's UK, which is all a bit cheeky right now. It's been
Yeah,
going,
you
but
can kind of do whatever you
yeah,
want.
she's doing a bunch of indie stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, aren't you fucking
Yeah, remember the
aren't
fucking
you with WWE?
dude. Every other week, the goddamn WWE UK champion shows up on like just the most random fucking indie
I
promotions.
love it. I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
great.
I just wish there was like, and maybe it's in the whole new era of kayfabe.
I honestly-
we just don't know.
I honestly think that like that that UK division is going to be like a prototype for what we're going to get eventually in WWE when Triple H takes over.
Yeah.
Guys will have the ability if they need to, and like as long as it's a company affiliated somewhat with WWE, it's like a feeding system. You're gonna make it like Seth Rollins could go to Progress. That'd be so fucking.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be great. And you get Progress stars come across and do like just NXT shows or fucking
And it'll give them
house
something
shows.
to fucking do.
Exactly.
120
Exactly.
guys on the main roster. Let at least fucking 5 of them go and
Just do
travel the
whatever.
world, be
Just
the touring
do-
WWE product.
Do whatever.
And the last bit of news I've got is from the local scene. MCW New Horizon have announced 2 matches. One of them is the heavyweight title match between Gino Gambino and Robbie Eagles for the title, which is going to be hopefully one hell of a match. And Slex has got a new challenger for the Intercommonwealth Championship. Adam Brooks will be sticking around for a little bit longer. So he'll be taking on Slex for the Intercommonwealth Championship, which Adam Brooks has held, I think, a record 6 times from memory.
Good moment.
Adam Brooks is like the next big Aussie star, I reckon.
He's currently
break
wrestling over in Europe at the moment and making
You
waves over there.
reckon?
But okay, well, of the boys that went to PWG, Adam Brooks, Robbie Eagles, Gino, and
Jonah Rock. Didn't
Jonah Rock as well. Yeah, those 4 boys.
Jonah Rock, dude.
I reckon.
Ospreay tweeted out actually about
Guilty.
Robbie Eagles' match, saying, "Holy shit!
Yeah,
People switch
think-
onto this match right now."
I think it's either going to be Robbie Eagles or Adam. I reckon Adam Brooks, next guy to get like that steady PWG. Like every couple of months, he'll get a gig on there, and then eventually, like once you get PWG, once you're like a regular PWG, you ain't far away from like smashing through like into like the big indie scene in America. So I reckon he might be the next.
You reckon PWG is the gateway?
It is.
Ah,
100%.
yeah,
100%. Like, you look at every guy in WWE that's come through the NXT system in the last 2 to 3 years. Nearly all of them have been PWG World Champion or Tag Champion at some point. Kevin Owens and El Generico Sami Zayn being the like big examples of that. I think Owens is the most reigns as PWG champion, former PWG and longest reigning champion. Adam Cole, former PWG champion Ricochet. The only guy that really that has broken out massively lately that isn't is Velveteen, but he's mostly a WWE guy.
Yeah.
Came through their system.
He came through up there tough enough.
Yeah,
He's more
but like
or less
for the most part, like all the big guys that are doing really really well. Even fucking Daniel Bryan was a PWG champ way back when he was still Bryan.
You know, he was
Danielson.
also a World Series champion.
Was he?
He
Yeah.
was.
Shit.
Yeah.
Fucking how long has World Series been going for?
Dude, they're the weirdest company in the world, man. They like...
It's like NWA. They disappeared for a bit and then they pop back up.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Fair
Like,
enough.
suss their page and they go through, like, their lineage. And it's like a long... It's not long in years, but not long in champions.
Okay, so World Series Wrestling, the international assault stuff is Australia-based, yeah?
World Series is technically an Australian promotion. I
Right,
think.
but have they done their own independent shows overseas?
Not that I know
Not that you
of.
know of. Okay. Well, has the belt been defended overseas, though? Because
Not that I know of.
do they call that the World Series World Championship or just the World Series
I mean, it's
Championship?
called World.
Okay, well...
It's in the fucking promotion's name.
yeah, I'm just saying. To be an official World
I
Championship...
know, motherfucker.
3 continents.
Really?
Has to be defended on 3 continents.
Well, fucking hit rule book you're looking at.
Because no, it's like an unofficial. Even PWG didn't call it the PWG World's Heavyweight Championship until it was defended on. They got America, then they got.
This just goes back into our fucking conversation we had a couple of weeks ago, where it's just like, you know, in WWE's system,
There is a rule book. There is a rule book for pro
you
wrestling.
know, the world title is just whatever they call it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, they don't look at things like fucking TNA world title reigns, NWA world title reigns, like they don't count.
Yeah, that's because it's not part of WWE. But like individual promotions, they most of them won't call it a World Heavyweight Championship until it's defended.
Good on them.
3 continents, which
Good
is pretty
on
cool.
them.
I like that. I like that there is like these unofficial rules, like you have to tap out 3 times to officially tap out. You have to
Yeah.
defend about 3 continents for it to be a World Championship.
Well, it sounds like 3 is the common denominator here.
It does. It does.
Pinfall ends in a 3 count.
Man, 3 is a magic number. 3 is a magic number. All right. Well, let's talk about Dean. Is Dean turning on him?
No, hold on. And I went over this. Just let me get my piece out.
All right,
Let me get my piece out.
go.
I was talking about this yesterday with a mate. All right,
Yep.
and this is
Or
this is my
Yep.
inherent problem with the whole. Oh, it has to be Dean.
Oh.
And this is why I don't think it is.
Okay.
The sole fact that they have teased you that it's Dean,
Mhm.
and the sole fact that everyone thinks it's going to be Dean,
is exactly
is the reason why Seth is going to turn.
Again?
is the reason
Again?
why Seth is going to turn.
Really?
And it's going to be the exact same fucking way.
So
Remember-
So is he going to join Triple H and Randy Orton's going to be drafted back to Raw and
He's
they're going to
gonna
redo the Authority
join-
2.0?
He's going to join... No, he's not going to join anyone. It's going to be done in a way where he doesn't join Braun, but he's done with the Shield. Right? So he exists in this weird heelness because Braun technically, by crowd standards, and this is where I put Cody over. Cody's like, heels and faces don't exist anymore. Right? So it's whatever the crowd fucking wants. But the crowd will hate Seth. Now think back, harken back to when it first happened, the Shield broke. Everyone thought Dean would do it. Everyone thought it was going to be Dean. True. Everyone knew Roman was going to get the push, but everyone looked at Dean and goes, oh, Dean's going to do it. Dean's going to be the one to do it. And then they did it to Seth and look back at it now, retrospectively, the best move they could have done.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The best move they could have done. It
Yeah.
established actually all three of them as great singles guys.
Yep.
Dean was a successful singles guy with the Shield anyway. He was like the only one of them to have a singles title during the
Yeah.
Shield reign.
He for me always felt like the default leader.
Yeah,
And now-
he started as that,
now that
and then Roman was looked at it by the company, but Seth always was like held back a little bit. He
Yeah.
had to earn it a bit more. Weirdly enough, because he was also the fucking NXT champion. So it's like,
Yeah.
of all these guys here, technically, singles-wise, around the world, he has the most credibility. But in the WWE's eyes, Dean was positioned better, and Roman
think-
was always going to be positioned
I
better.
think Dean at the time was a better talker as well.
Yeah. Still very much.
I think he still is the best talker.
Yeah.
Seth has come a long way, though.
And this is what I'm saying. The fact that they're fucking teasing you, and they're obviously teasing you. Obviously teasing you.
It's not even... they came out and blatantly said, like, Braun blatantly said,
Yeah.
it's like, you are the odd one out here. Where's your belt? Come
Exactly.
over here. You want that IC belt?
It's
Come
so
to
obvious.
us.
But this is not, and this has been proven time and time again with the Dean character. This just isn't who he is.
No.
Right? He's so loyal and so powerfully loyal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and this is why I firmly believe that if WWE is going to throw and absolutely work all of us, you
Roman.
turn Seth again.
Okay.
Because no one's expecting him to do it again.
I know.
And it would really propel him as a
There'd
heel.
be that minority that will think Seth is going to turn.
There will be some that we...
There
in
There
the
will be,
minority.
but they're the minority comparatively
minority.
to everyone who now thinks has to be Dean, and everyone being like, well, they got to turn Roman heel, which has been the loudest fan base in the history of the world for the last 5 years.
I think like right now Roman is in the perfect spot for Roman.
Exactly. Roman's in perfect
he's
spot.
fine.
He also needs a top heel, and that top heel should be Seth. If it's not going to be Braun, and Braun won't last very long,
Or Brock, who's,
Brock
a
is
one and
dip
done
after
deal.
Crown Jewel,
Yeah.
right?
He's got a fight to deal with.
Establish Seth as the heel again. Seth works heel so well.
Are they willing to give up their top babyface on Raw?
He is the top.
But top babyface gets replaced with Dean and Roman.
Well,
Two for the price of one.
Well, Dean.
Dean, yeah, but Roman will always be that.
Okay, but we've run that story before, and honestly, after Dean,
I know,
got-
and look, I know. And this is
after,
what I'm
after
saying.
Dean was done with the Seth feud,
Merits both sides. Merits both sides. I'm agreeing with everyone here. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
But solely on the fact that we're being so obviously led to believe that it has to be Dean.
but do you reckon that's like a double swerve?
It could
like-
be a double swerve.
It's like
it could be.
It's
It
so
could be.
obvious that of course it's going to happen.
But it's Roman Reigns booking because when it does happen, are you going to get the fucking response that you want?
well, Dean
yeah,
was-
you'll get a pop, but he won't. Unless Becky Lynch is the exception to the rule of a heel turn that's worked kind of against the structure of a heel turn, but it's still made her so much more popular than it was before. That won't be Dean, in my opinion, because I don't know. I just think it'll work so much better. You'll achieve exactly what you want with doing it with Seth, and he'll still be so over regardless.
I will say this, though. Dean was supposed to be the one to turn heel before he got injured last year. That was the rumor
Yeah.
going into...
Yeah, but
Because when
yeah.
they were going to go into
It was-
WrestleMania with the tag belts,
It was...
or be fighting for the tag belts, and then he's going to turn or something like that.
No, actually, they were thinking of... Before Brock came into it, they were going to have Dean versus Roman originally for the Universal Championship.
Oh, really?
That was the original plan.
That'd be cool.
They were going to have Brock drop it to Roman, I think, at the Rumble, and then it was going to be... Dean was going to turn on Roman, and it was going to be Dean versus Roman for the belts.
Has to be
That
Seth
would have been
again.
good. Well, we've not got that combination yet.
And yet...
Oh no, we haven't got a Dean versus Roman, but
Yeah.
But Dean got injured. That
Dean,
was the problem.
Dean has to be
Yeah.
a career face, in my opinion. It's weird. It's so weird when you look at the structure and fundamentals of Dean's character.
I actually
He,
kind
is
of...
not, he should not be a face. He should never, ever be a face.
No. Actually, no. I agree with Yang.
By fundamental looking at, like, if you had to read it, if you had to read his character on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
and to go, he's a lunatic, right? he's
Hey,
fucking
man,
crazy.
The fringe is gone, man.
All right,
he's
he's fucking crazy,
Yeah.
right? He punches his cheek when he gets mad, and like he does all he hulks
He hasn't
up.
really done that since he's come back.
Oh, I don't know, bro. That's what I'm saying. If
He's
you were
very
to read,
he's very stoic now.
he is, which is like
It's so hard to get.
so healy, but at the same time,
I actually agree with
Dean
Yang with this one.
fundamentally-
I think with Dean, he's a career face for one reason. He's got the same level of career face Stone Cold Steve Austin had during the Attitude Era.
if you were to read Stone Cold's character on a fucking piece
That's
of
a good
paper,
point.
you would look at
Well,
him and
okay,
go, well, he's a heel.
when
Compare the
originally,
pair with those two.
when the Shield was still a thing, and I think this is back like when we may have first started the podcast like ages ago. I think I said like coming out of the Shield, it was pretty easy to put these guys into archetypes.
Easy, yeah.
Seth is Triple H, Dean is Stone Cold, and Roman should have been The Rock. You just run those archetypes again. You obviously give them their own flair of the character, but that should be who those three guys are. And
Well,
if
if we're
you
going on that, then Seth has to turn then.
well, but that's originally when he did. It was perfect because that's all Triple H did during the fucking Attitude. It was just turn on everyone
Yeah.
who like paired up with him at some
Yeah.
point. So it made sense for Seth to be the one eventually
it's still
to turn.
in Seth's character, I feel.
No, I have some.
Yeah.
At some point, he's going to go back to being a heel, and he's going to be a fucking fantastic heel. I just want, based on like original Shield when they were the heels, based on like who they pushed to the forefront as the talker, which was Dean initially. Eventually, the other two guys got to do a bit of talking. Roman was like decidedly the weakest coming into that, but he had that presence.
Roman might actually be the strongest now. In a
Talk-
very weird
talker.
way. Yeah.
I think you still got.
It's when he's paired against someone else that's a good talker, he's a great talker.
Yeah, like
But if
the,
Roman's
when he
meant
had
to carry
the
the narrative in his promos,
yeah,
a little bit different.
like I mean the stuff he did with Cena when they had their like
But
match.
Cena carried the narrative.
He did,
so it's
but,
easy
like,
to respond
He
when you're
brought
Roman.
up to that level
Yeah, no shit,
in the
that's what I'm
promo
saying.
and did a really good job.
Yeah.
Like when Roman is given.
Let's not diss Roman. Roman is actually a good talker.
No,
But
he is.
didn't
No, he is.
start that way. I'll agree with you
I
on
think
that.
when Roman is given directives, not a script, Roman can be really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think Roman's strength is.
Soccer Josh.
Yeah, don't give him stupid stuff like that to say. That was exactly what I was thinking in my head too. I'm just don't bring it up.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Rollins Ambrose stuff where, Ambrose made a mockery of Rollins after he won the Money in the Bank contract and, the slime in the briefcase, I absolutely
Yeah.
love that sort
I
of
didn't
stuff.
like that.
So, all right,
I didn't.
let's book this turn. If we were to go Dean turn, obviously
Okay.
the best thing you get out of that is the untold story of Dean versus Roman, because we've seen Dean versus Seth.
We've
So,
seen Seth v Roman.
We've seen Seth v Roman,
And
so
you've
good
also seen
storyline-
Dean and Roman sort of tease when they were, before they turned face. They were
Yeah.
sort of, at each other's odds and all that. Rollins had to be the voice of reason.
Well, he was the one that brought them back together when it looked like they were splitting with before the Wyatt feud.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So Dean brought him. Seth brought them all back.
So
and
there
that's
was a
where he got the
teaser
architects.
of a Dean and Roman feud there. There was
Yeah.
a teaser.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We haven't got it. So I can get it if that is the goal here with a Dean turn, not to run a Dean and Seth feud, but more so to run a Dean and Roman feud. I'd pay that.
Yeah.
Right?
Do we just think that this is going to eventually culminate in we are finally going to get a Shield triple threat at Mania?
I think that's the ultimate.
I
goal
know
here.
we've got one at Battleground a few years ago, and it was quite good. It was a good match.
But it'll be a Mania. I think no matter what, this
Mania
all
will
ends a
be-
point where the universe is on the line, universal title's on the line, and it's a triple threat.
at
right?
Mania, and
And I'll fucking pay it. I will fucking pay that moment.
Dean wins. I would be happy with that.
If he were to go heel, I would have him win.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't
I
have
just-
him go over his
I just
face.
think like Dean,
especially with hard body Dean that he is now, bro.
yeah,
All right,
Well, I don't.
fuck.
We just haven't seen that new like this Dean we've got now, and even the Dean we had before. I think there is so much potential there to be a fucking ruthless, just
I think he can, and this is what I'm saying.
Just-
I'm not against the Dean turn, but
even, like
solely on the
I'm
fact that
talking
they're
like
booking it now.
Ciampa level heel.
No, it could be.
Yeah.
No, but you can get Ciampa level in terms of what way? Reaction or in terms of
Reaction from crowd.
or how he acts? Reaction from the crowd. If Seth did it, he'd get the bigger reaction. If Seth were to turn heel again, the exact same. Think of the first time when Seth
No,
turned.
I
People genuinely hated
Oh no,
him for
yeah, they
breaking up
fucking
the
like
Shield.
that next Raw.
Yeah.
When he came out in the suit, had their hair
Do
tied
it.
back,
Yeah.
everyone just fucking hated him, and it worked so well.
Do it again with
That's
Seth.
why I don't think he's going to work this time.
No,
I don't think it'll work this
it
time.
won't. But it definitely won't work if Dean does it.
I think it'll
he
work.
won't get booed out of the building.
I think if he focuses his
he will
initial,
get Becky level.
the problem is if he focuses his initial attack on Roman, he's going to get cheered like a motherfucker. But if he attacks Seth,
But that's what I'm saying. If Seth does it and attacks Dean, but then think
Yeah,
of
but
but then think of when they reformed. It was Seth wanting it. It was Seth being like,
Yeah, I
"No,
know, I
I want
know.
this, I want this,"
I
and
know.
Dean was like, "No," because Dean is so. Dean is on a Chris Jericho level in terms of like always, and Kevin Owens in terms of remembering continuity.
He does, yes.
Right? That's where
That's true.
Dean's character is so great, is that he's so powerfully loyal, but he also remembers very well.
Yeah.
But that whole storyline was just like, fuck you, I haven't forgotten. In the WWE universe, 99% of wrestlers forget what happened the week before.
That's a good point.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
It's an annoying point.
Yeah. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens seem to be the only ones that have that continuity to him. Dean does as well. That's why I'm saying, think of that, like, think of everything that's happened up to this point. Dean has always been so powerfully loyal, always been so pro-Shield, always been like this. And when you betrayed him, it took him a damn long time to forgive you. So that strength of his Seth to do it again, and I believe Dean could put it over with the Cell.
Oh, Dean could put it over 100%.
Yeah. That's why I don't think Dean would turn, because I just don't think that's in him. It's not his character.
He was teasing the fuck out of it on Monday, though.
No shit, but I think
was.
that's deliberate. Because regardless of teasing it, he still got back in that ring.
He did.
He still got back in. He's still
And,
Shield.
and we also saw the potential as well between Rollins and Ambrose when Ambrose came back from his injury and Rollins brought him out and all. We're thinking, is he going to turn at SummerSlam? Is he going to while the referee's down or
the entire time was in the back of their minds.
Yeah, everyone's just like, fuck, is he going to turn?
No shit, but
and then the next
but
day,
this is what I'm saying. This is perfect. It's perfect because everyone's sitting there going, it has to be Dean. It has to be Dean. And if you really want to piss off the crowd, you get Seth to do it again.
I mean, I guess so. I don't know. It's a tough one. But what about
and I would call it a mid-card heel too, because let's run Roman face at the top, right? You need a mid-card heel because then you got mid-card faces. There's like mid-card faces throughout the roof in Raw, right? You could run another story with Finn, run one with Lashley, right? There's like
Lashley's destined to have a heel turn with Lio Rush as his mouthpiece.
I think the opposite. I think Lashley's actually even more cemented as a face with Lio Rush on his side. Because Lio Rush, you can't hate him. Can't hate him.
He was teasing the heel
boy.
turn.
I can't hate him.
He was teasing the heel turn on 205 Live and NXT as well. He was teasing the heel turn.
He was.
But it could be one of those situations where, like, okay, is Drake Maverick a heel manager on 205?
Please don't say that name. Rockstar Spud.
Whatever. Is he a heel manager on 205?
No,
Live?
he's a
and
face
yet
manager.
He is a heel with AOP.
Yeah.
So I
They
think
exist in different worlds.
205 Live exists in a different world. So even if Lio Rush is a heel on 205 Live, he can still be a face manager over on Raw.
He's so fucking over.
He
Lio
is,
Rush.
he
In
is.
just a brief 3 weeks, so fucking over.
Yeah.
Right. And like that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm led to believe that it's like, at least not for the foreseeable future. Maybe down the line they'll turn heel, but fair enough. But at least for up until like let's say Rumble. This act of Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush is going to be continuously going more and more over as a face. It has honestly changed Bobby Lashley's career.
It has.
It has changed the trajectory of his career.
I did drop to you guys as well. I said to you last week on the podcast that Lashley works better when he's got someone in his corner because
Mans can't talk.
No,
yeah,
he can't.
he can't
Mans
talk.
can't talk.
But he's got he's similar to Brock Lesnar. At times Brock doesn't talk and all.
Yeah, he's
because-
Black Lesnar.
Yeah, he can basically do
Literally.
the heavy lifting, strength stuff.
The joke was good the first time.
I know.
But
It's
with
overplayed now.
Lio Rush, I think Leo has also reinvented and rejuvenated himself since what happened in January this year when he put out that
True.
ill-fated tweet.
True.
Which
Yeah, honestly, I forget it's him. I
He-
forget it was him.
He
They
was
got the
close to
fuck-
being fired.
Yeah, he got hit, dude.
funny.
Vince wanted to fire him. Triple H said, no, this guy's money. We're keeping him. We're just going to give him shit for the next
Yo.
6 or so months.
9 months later, apparently Vince caught a tape of him cutting a promo, and now he loves the kid.
Yeah.
Now he loves.
Wasn't it the
kid.
thing that like changed his mind on managers overall?
Mm.
Just in general, just like, okay, we need.
Let's look at it.
Because like it's.
I mean, that's why Triple H with the Curtain Call incident and all that, because Triple H was hated by Vince and hated by everyone in the roster because, they broke kayfabe in 1996 and all that.
Oh, true.
It
Have you
took-
seen that doco?
Yeah, it took
I love that.
it took Triple H 12 months to get back in everyone's good books again. And then when Shawn Michaels pitched the idea of DX to Vince asked him, who do you want in mind? Who do you have in mind? First person he said is Triple H. And he said, look, this guy has been jobbing for the last 12 months. He jobbed to the Warrior who lasted 3 months
know.
in his return to the company.
I love hearing Triple H talk about
now it's time, to give him his due. I think he's paid his dues. He's got the respect back of the locker room. Now let's push this guy because this guy is money.
And now look where he is. He's fighting Undertaker in 2018.
And he's the fucking CIO. So let's really talk
And
about it.
he's also about to take over WWE creative and WWE everything after Vince steps down to work on the XFL.
If he doesn't marry Stephanie McMahon, how different of a career does he have? Does he become a 14-time world champion?
Yes. I think so.
Because he buried Tessa's career in the
I don't
long,
really.
in the short in that
Has
long
he?
term.
Had he? I maybe. Do you think? I don't think he'd
I'm
be
sure.
COO.
I'm sure nepotism would have come into it at some point, and he probably would have got, especially later on, he would have got a couple of those reigns because of who he is and who he married. But for the most part,
the last one
if you
if
you look back, well, that was probably his call, not fucking Vince's. Like he's VP of talent relations.
But that's
and
what
that sort
I'm
of shit.
saying. Does he get these higher up positions had he not married Steph?
I think
This is obviously
okay,
turning
okay.
into some really cheeky territory right now.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
fucking like a reality that we can't book. But
honestly, if you look at Triple H and even like one of his, I think his first documentary, which was like King of Kings or something like that.
Oh, that was good.
You can tell, and even if you look back at the first series of Tough Enough, he was the guy they chose.
no, that's true.
To put the boots to the new kids when he like that famous scene of him just showing them how to bump and showing the difference between like a really shitty bump and then a bump with intensity. I think he's a guy that they picked up a long time ago and said this guy like at worst if he didn't marry Stephanie, he would be in the Matt Bloom position. He would be head trainer at NXT.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think that is the worst case scenario for Triple H. This is obviously best case. But if he doesn't marry Stephanie, he would fall somewhere in between. I think he would still be involved with NXT. I think he would either be like fully head training or booking NXT.
And Triple H actually got Shawn Michaels a job as a part-time trainer at NXT as well.
Which is the reason Shawn's coming back. Boo. But yeah, so I think like nepotism doesn't really come into it with Triple H and where he is in the company right now. I think he earned it by being as good as he was. And if you look back at like, especially after Stone Cold fucked off the first time, Triple H became that guy that they built the entire heel upper echelon of the card around.
Yeah.
Triple H was the guy.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He was the
You're
guy
not
that
wrong.
buried everyone. I think he got over by himself. Having him marry Stephanie and shit, that just got him extra heat. And then having him dump her, which was funny as hell, got him even more heat. But it just... he would have got to this position, I think, no matter what in the long run.
That's what I'm saying. Let's look at it post 2010.
I was gonna
Right?
point
Where
another thing
it
for
was
2002.
kind of obvious that he was
Never.
moving into a managerial position.
Yeah.
Would he, had he not married Steph, still be wrestling to the intensity that he had back then now? Or was it... Oh, this is such a weird question.
I think he was,
Right, but it's
he was destined to be in the
no
boardroom.
matter what, does he move into a managerial
He was
position?
destined to be in the boardroom only because of
Yeah.
what Ricky said with the tough enough stuff and all that,
Fair.
of the way he's
yeah.
worked with the young talent and all
Fair.
that. The at times heated conversations he's had with
Triple H,
Phil
man, I ain't
Brooks.
counting your pockets, bro. I'm sorry. I'm trying to add a little spice to the podcast. You know, just a little cheeky question. If Triple H is out there and he listens, I'm not stiffing you, brother. Look, honestly, maybe if you didn't marry Steph, you'd probably be CEO. All right, I'm just saying. I don't bloody know.
But
I think like it's the next step. It's
Yeah.
from like where he is now to being the head booker, I think, or to being the guy who takes over from Vince. I think would only come in this situation where he has married Steph.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Maybe
he
if he
would-
hadn't married Steph, he wouldn't be the next Shane, probably.
Because-
maybe Steph and Shane.
Because
would've done
it does
right?
feel
Like,
very much like Vince wants to keep it all in the family,
yeah,
which is fair.
and I respect that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
But
respect
can you
that.
like can you
and,
honestly
and
imagine
that's why
the
Triple
world?
H is getting his team together now because
and that's why it's Triple H, because not only is he now a part of the family and has been for a very long time, but he's also so much more knowledgeable in the back end of the industry as well as on the front end of the industry as a professional.
Well, I
plus,
mean, like-
he's in the office for 12 hours
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
8 a.m. to 8 p.m. He then goes home, has dinner, does a midnight session gym, goes to bed at 1:30. He's up at 5:30, 6 o'clock the next morning, ready to do it all again.
Well, Trips, that's just not healthy, bro.
Well, I mean, did you hear how he got
That's why you're balding.
how he
bro.
got Motorhead to do his new like the game theme song?
No.
He used to spend, especially when it was like original DX as well with Sean, they would spend so fucking long in the truck with fucking Big Teeth done
Oh, done.
Done.
Yeah.
booking their entrances. So like the lighting setups, the pyro they would have, they would actually spend time with the production team being like, okay, this is what we want. This is how we want our entrance to come across. Whereas a lot of people very clearly just were like, here's your music. This is how you come out, done. They actually took the time to go, okay, I want this, this, and this. And then when he wanted a new theme song when he became the game, he went to Vince and hounded Vince for months and said, I want Motorhead, I want Motorhead, I want Motorhead.
Because he was a diehard Motorhead fan before he got his theme song for the
and
game.
he wanted that to be his new theme song, and he went out of his way to go, okay, I need this for my new character to put me over. I need that. I need the fucking the lights and shit. Like, so he's a guy who
he also hounded Vince as well to get Motorhead to perform his song at Mania 17 as well.
Yeah. Triple H is very, and I'm not once have I stepped Triple H on the psychology of wrestling.
Yeah,
right. He so is.
So I just think this guy's had a mind for the business since day dot.
Fair.
That would have translated eventually to the position he is in now.
I will say this though, like
Steph
the only time that everyone hated Triple H is because of how much power he had in the company was his World Heavyweight title reign from 2003 to 2004 because Triple H didn't want to put anyone over at that point in time. Because originally, like WWE, Vince wanted to have Booker T beat him at WrestleMania. Triple H said no, I win. They wanted Goldberg to win the Chamber at SummerSlam 2003. Troy said, no, I win.
Should have been Goldberg.
He's like,
great Chamber match. Should have been Goldberg.
He said, I'll drop the belts, but I won't drop it inside the Chamber because I lost my last Chamber match. I need to redeem myself with a victory inside the Chamber.
Yeah, I can respect that.
And that's why he did it the month after.
Yeah.
And then he said Randy Orton wasn't ready for the world title when they put it on him in the first place. He says, I need to beat some sense into this kid before he has another world title match. That's
true.
What
Randy won it 2004.
24 years of age.
Then he didn't have another one until 2007.
Yeah.
He won it off redacted. They never bring that up anymore, do they? Do they even bring up that name anymore? Like, sorry, not that, but that title win.
Say it.
Chris
Benoit. Chris Benoit.
But do they bring up?
Greatest of all time.
They don't really like talk about that title reign anymore, do they?
No, they don't.
No shit.
They say Randy Orton won the championship. They don't mention who he beats.
You've been on the network.
I know they don't like talk about who he won it against, but like,
have you been on the network? Have you seen how they timestamp things on the network? They go,
they skip his matches.
They used to. They now don't. But they just say that it's especially if he was the main event. They have the other person who just says wins the world title. Right, and on the timestamping, it goes beginning of this match, and at the end of the match, it just says finish. Whereas normally on the other matches, it goes Triple H versus John Cena, and then finish of Triple H versus John Cena.
Yeah.
This one just goes World Heavyweight title match. Randy Orton defends or something, or Randy Orton challenges, and then finish off Randy Orton world title match.
Because he used to just completely skip they didn't timestamp his matches.
Yeah, before they didn't even timestamp his matches. Now they timestamp them,
Yeah.
but they just preface it with saying whatever he was. It was the world title. I think I've only ever seen it for the world title. I don't know if he ever had the singles, but he has the US stuff on there.
Is it the 21 triple threat?
When they had the vignette of
20,
Randy Orton
20?
and going through like his chronology and all that, it just starts with Randy Orton on the ropes holding up the world title, and then like Randy Orton's won the World Heavyweight Championship, and then they cut into the next thing.
That. They could have easily re-recorded that.
Oh, current Randy Orton.
No, like the commentary.
Oh yeah.
They 100% could have done that.
Very easily, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. We've somehow managed to work our way back to Chris Benoit.
Even
after weeks of not talking about him.
Even 11 years later, I still can't watch his matches. I actually have not sat down and watched a Benoit match in 11 years. I can't do it.
I can do it.
That's just insulting to wrestling.
I can't do it.
Because this is where
it's hard not to, because he's had some of the best matches of all time.
Chris Jericho's on record saying that like it's a shame because I've worked my best matches in my career against him,
and they won't bring him up.
Kurt Angle said that too. Kurt Angle said the exact same thing.
It's like I worked my best matches in my career against this guy. It's not fair to me as the talent to be able to be like I can't talk about that. Like, and when people ask me what's the best matches you've ever had, it's like I have to kind of like double check myself and go, well, I can't say it's Chris Benoit, so it was
me versus Hunter at 17.
Yeah, because Jericho is now leading the front of like, no, I'm going to talk about my matches and I'm going to talk about how good Chris Benoit
he does that on his podcast from time to time.
I respect that. Talk about Chris Benoit, the wrestler. No one ever talks about Chris Benoit, the man. That's fine. Like but when it comes to like, who are some of like the most technical proficient wrestlers that have ever wrestled? Eddie Guerrero,
Bret Hart,
Chris Jericho, and Chris Benoit.
Kurt Angle,
but Chris Benoit was in the conversation.
Chris Benoit is always in that conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
don't deny the man's wrestling ability. It's a shame.
Anyway,
but it's just wrestling ability.
It is, and like we
Maybe
can always go on.
If he took a few less head bumps in his time, he would have been fine. That diving one off the top rope was so stupid.
Daniel Bryan keeps trying to do those. I wish he would stop. I wish he would stop.
Yeah. He should have stopped wrestling.
Hey, come on. He's fine. Speaking of Daniel Bryan, his wife, stop wrestling. Enough. You're done.
So
you kicked Liv Morgan's poor face in.
Yeah, time to pack it in. Time to pack it
before
in,
that,
Brie.
well, like ever since she came back, let's just go down the dot points really quickly. What she's done in the past. She's almost killed herself twice with the botched suicide dives. She hurt Maurice as well at Hell in the Cell. I think apparently it's stiffing. She stiffed the Miz on SmackDown with a slap. She stiffed Ruby Riott in that same match as well. And then, she knocked out Liv Morgan. So that's 6 things wrong Brie Bella's done since returning
Shoot,
to the
though,
ring.
it's not like it's not 100% Brie's fault.
Well, Liv
right.
The kicks were 100% her fault.
No, but here's the problem with and actually, I watched the replay. I watched it back.
Yeah, I have.
And Liv Morgan's also in trouble here as well because
Liv Morgan is not at fault
No.
in some kind of small percentage of the way.
No. Fuck.
Liv
no.
Morgan.
Because it wasn't the last kick that knocked her out. It was the second last kick.
Yeah, but Liv Morgan.
Yeah, and on that
up,
alone, she leaned over. She should have known it was the second last kick.
She leaned over
right?
too
and
much.
She leaned well over.
Yeah, because she was already falling over because she was already fucking unconscious. And Brie...
On the last one, on the second
No,
last
on the
one,
second
she already
last one.
oversold.
She oversold
on the second last one, she was already knocked out. Brie kicked her again when she was already coming down to the mat.
That's fine. I agree with that one.
That's yeah.
No, I agree with that one.
100% Brie's
but
fault.
that's the 100% Brie's fault.
Yeah.
When she got kicked in there the first time, it was a bit of an oversell.
She leaned over. If you look at it back, she leaned over.
Leaned
Yeah, but
well over in the momentum of the kick.
You're a fucking professional.
And
You
No,
should
I
be a
agree.
professional.
I'm not
agree.
saying it's 50-50. It's honestly probably 95-5. But it's not to say that Liv wasn't even in the slightest bit.
It was a freak
negligence there.
It was a freak accident.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
There's negligence a bit.
There is 100% negligence there.
On Liv. Just a
No.
little bit of negligence on Liv.
Okay.
Oversold on the second
Okay,
last
95-5. I will give you that. But it's mostly Brie Bella's fault. Fuck off. Get out of the ring. Go back to selling clothes.
Yep.
Yep.
And wine.
Sure. Just don't get in a wrestling ring. You're done. You've had your time. You are the reason that the fucking Divas Revolution started in the first place. You and your stupid sister.
Woo!
Get out of the fucking ring.
Wow.
I've had enough. I've honestly, I've never liked them. I've never, ever. These aren't hot takes. This is everyone thinks this.
These are
Except-
Ricky's opinions at the Bellas.
I don't give a fuck.
Does not reflect
Nick-
Australia
I don't
or its
care.
subsidiaries.
Nikki or Brie, if you're listening to this, I think Nikki's okay. Brie, you could do a little bit of work. But these are Ricky's opinions.
If either of them are listening,
but these are Ricky's
if either of them
opinions.
are listening, which I doubt they are, fucking come at me, because
At me, bro.
fucking at me. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm sick of it. And to a lesser extent, Lana and Maurice too. You're not wrestlers. You're not. Get out of the ring.
Shall we speak about
Get out-
the Lana Rusev and
out of
English?
the
Because
fucking
it just
ring.
got a bit spicy. The angle with those three on SmackDown, didn't it, Yang?
Fuck this whole podcast is off the shop right
Yep.
now.
So-
They want structure.
So
I mean, I'm not done, but I'll be done.
But-
no, hold on, he's not done. Let him get his.
Are you done?
Speak your piece. Speak your piece.
Speak my piece. I'm just.
I'll turn my
I don't know
mic
if
off.
I don't know if I've ever like said it on the podcast, but like those two married very well and very smartly. Well, I mean, one of them did. The other one tried real fucking hard and failed. Lol on that. You stupid bitch.
Oh wow.
I fucking hate them. I've never liked them.
Fair
I've
enough.
Never ever liked them.
Shoot.
They are the remnants of
Just
what
to
was.
be fair, though, when Nikki and Cena were dating, and they dated for a very long period of time, you could tell there was a drastic improvement in Nikki's wrestling. She tried when she was like, Cena obviously must have gotten in there and been like, okay, here's what you can improve on, because
Yeah.
Nikki's wrestling improved a lot comparatively to what it was before Cena.
It
Right?
did.
Nikki can carry herself in a match,
She
And
can.
right?
and Nikki was doing.
most-
And honestly, if we think about like the top match carriers in the in the industry right now, in terms of WWE, right? Obviously, I think Natalya is probably up there. Natalia's actually probably number one.
Yep.
Very, very, very like disrespected Natalya in terms of in-ring ability. It literally runs in her blood.
Even Natalia
I don't like
trained
her,
Nikki
but
as
yeah,
well.
whatever.
Natalia.
No, character-wise, fair enough. But
Yeah.
she is the smoothest female wrestler there is.
Probably.
Right? From chain wrestling to booking a match to everything that comes in between. Natalya knows what she's doing.
Yep.
Next is honestly probably Charlotte.
No, I think Sasha's smoother.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was gonna put Sasha up there.
Mm.
Right? But then honestly, after that, I'm probably looking at Nikki Bella.
Because
That's what I'm saying.
'cause Nikki-
not Brie, but Nikki. I think Nikki, because she spent a lot of time with Cena, and I think she learnt a lot in this wrestling.
she also
You can trust Nikki in a
She
match.
sacrificed 18 months of her career when she broke her neck, constantly doing the rack attack.
That seems like more her fault than anyone else's, but it's fine.
I was gonna say
Nikki is smooth, right? And she's improved so much.
I was gonna say
She dated
Natalia
Brie-
Natalia actually helped Nikki in the ring as well become a better wrestler.
Yeah,
and all
in
that.
the same way that Rousey's looking really good as well because she learns from Natalia.
Yeah,
Natalia's A1. Top of the list, right?
Natalia actually helped Nikki condition better in the ring than anyone else.
I just still find
And Lana
Natalia's
too.
match is really boring.
Natalia also helped Lana condition well in the ring.
Don't even talk to me, Lana, man. Just fucking no. I watched the highlights of that match today.
Oh, trash. Oh, trash.
Yeah, just I.
All I'm saying, just to be fair to the one half of the Bellas, Nikki is actually really good comparatively to women's talent. But like, she's, you got Natalia, you got Charlotte and Sasha 2A, 2B, and then maybe there's one other, but then there's Nikki Bella's in the conversation.
Yeah. Look, it's fine. I don't like it. It's not something that, and like the minute they come back when Rousey pops up on the scene.
Yeah, look, fair enough.
oh,
I get it.
convenient.
I get it. You can have your grief there, and I agree with it.
Yep.
I'm with you. All I'm saying, just to be a little bit fair to the Bellas as a whole, Nikki's pretty good.
All right. To be
How
fair to
much?
Bella.
Okay, here's a question for you, Ricky.
Brie Bella, fuck off.
Here we
What?
go. Here's my question to you.
Yep.
If
how
Nikki had
much-
just returned, I would have respected.
How much do you think people are going to care about a Rousey-Nikki feud at Evolution? Because that's potentially going to be headlining Evolution. That might be the last match on the card.
Honestly, let's talk about the Evolution.
Just
card,
I
man. Come on,
do
let's talk about the Evolution.
not
card.
care one fucking bit. I hope Rousey legitimately rips her arm off, and I hope she goes into retirement.
Aside from Rousey, the only way that I have a very legitimate vested interest in this Evolution pay-per-view is if they start to push the tag belt that could be coming.
Yeah.
If they don't
they
start,
are starting to pair up a few people.
But that's got to be the point. If they're not doing this, and if their goal is not to introduce a tag belt, then you've wasted my money.
No, there's
Wasted my
two
time.
matches I'm keen for at Evolution. I'm keen for the nostalgia match between Lita and Mickie James because I know those two are going to.
That'll be good. Yeah, forgot about that.
And also, Trish Stratus versus current Trish Stratus.
No, I'm annoyed that it wasn't Sasha.
Yeah, same.
I'm
same.
very annoyed.
Has
that it
Sasha
wasn't
got a rumored match or match yet?
No.
No, okay.
That's
That's
the-
probably going to be her and Bailey for the tag
I feel
belts.
like she's copping a lot of heat for maybe retiring Paige. I feel like
I think
it's
that too.
now she's copping that heat really,
which is a
heavy.
shame.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she's the fucking best they got on Raw.
I know. It just feels so wrong. But I feel like when did she retire, Paige?
December.
Like 3 months.
It was
December.
It was
a while
before
ago.
Christmas. It was I think a week before Christmas because it was a stiff kick to the head of Paige though. That's the thing though.
Yeah, but both women have come out, especially Paige has come out and just been like, look, honestly, freak accident. I respect her still. Like,
Yeah, Paige basically said
Yeah,
shit happened.
But that doesn't mean shit to the fucking uppers of WWE. I feel like they had booked some Sasha stories to be long term. They let those play out, and they just didn't book anything else after that. And I feel like that's where now we're starting to notice.
I think because Paige was, I think from what I read back in December, Paige was in for a very big push back up the championship. Apparently,
Yeah.
she would.
she was the beginning of this whole faction thing we're seeing now with
Absolution, the
with-
Riot
yeah,
Squad.
she started Absolution, right? Like she's the beginning of this whole big faction thing. Maybe not just with women, but with in the company as a whole.
Because I think
right?
that we would have seen Paige versus Rousey at SummerSlam for the Women's Championship.
Yeah, that would have been a fucking brilliant moment. And in no way is anyone stiffing Sasha. It's just that I think the company might be. And I think we're now starting to see the repercussions pay out where she's getting left
it's
off.
bullshit that it's taken them 9 months to really start to bury her, but
Yeah. It's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate.
And then they did
Because she
nothing.
does a lot of the press stuff, and she'll always be one of the focal points of like women's wrestling press.
Yeah.
Like she does everything with Connor's Cure stuff. She's always out there. Has one of the most dedicated social media followings.
yeah.
The same can be said for Finn too.
Do you know also who also
They
does
don't
that as well?
care about that.
Do you know who also does that too?
Oh my god.
Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, Titus is their front guy for
Yeah.
a lot of their
Yeah, but
media
Titus
stuff
is in
too.
the exact right spot.
Yeah, Titus doesn't care about his in-ring stuff.
He doesn't
I feel
need. He doesn't
like.
need to be in any title hunt at
No.
all.
I think Titus is happy where he is right now in the
It'd be good if
company.
he wasn't on TV, but we can't all get what we want.
I don't mind
I'm
Titus.
in a bad mood today.
You were on
Yeah, you're really fucking
I
pissed
think
off.
because because Richmond lost on Friday night last week. I think that
Oh, true. I haven't seen you since the fucking boys got up.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. You can't.
I think that's why you're in.
Anyway, this is a wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Look,
want to drop this though. Aiden English probably had the best mic moment of the week.
Yeah, he managed to get a fucking town over.
He got Milwaukee over, and he also
good on
He
him.
got Milwaukee over
Yeah, I get
in
it.
Denver.
yeah.
Oh, can't do that.
Because he basically said
he did it.
The one thing that stood out was that end going, oh, by the way, have you told him about that one
Can we talk
night
about that just briefly?
in
like that?
Milwaukee? Drops the mic and walks
Not even
off.
just that, but the fucking. This is where SmackDown just does.
Are they
it for
running
me.
a possible cheating angle?
Oh, it seems that way. But hold on, forget about that for a moment.
I'm
The
out.
production of SmackDown for that promo just
Yep.
then, it was just like quick, like brilliant, like middle shot of like just of Aiden English going, "Have you told him about Milwaukee?" And then it quick cuts to Lana, and then just almost hyper zooms on her face, and she's just like. Zooming into her face. Like, it was just such a sitcom moment. Oh, the production team of SmackDown is fucking killing it recently.
They are.
And then it cuts back immediately to fucking Aiden English with the mic and just goes
Drops it.
and walks.
He
the
did the
fuck out.
Obama and drops the microphone, walks off.
Even with more so on the production team of SmackDown, the opening segment where Miz comes out,
Truth
fucking
TV
Truth
was
TV
the greatest thing ever made.
cuts the promo
greatest,
on Truth TV.
greatest segment in history.
But this, in terms of production stuff, as soon as he does that, finishes his promo, they start dancing again. Miz gets visibly pissed. The camera like follows him as he walks out, and then immediately cuts the page, kind of just chilling there in the backstage.
And you
No
can hear the
time is wasted.
You can hear the crowd going nuts as well for
Yeah.
the dancing in the ring still. 'Cause
And then Miz is just staring there, and they like it seems like no time was wasted. Like it was just one clean cut. Right, and like there was no outtake. It was just straight. Miz walked backstage, walked right up the page,
Yep.
and just said his line, and then walked right back.
go
out.
on, get, which is good.
Production of SmackDown,
And also Charlotte and Becky fighting as well.
because that was a long segment and there was no breaks, so there was none of that like, oh, do we have to rehearse our lines real quick? It was a long segment, and they just did it clean one take. Oh, Miz.
It's 2018 and they're running a cheating segment. I'm not about that.
The fucking Joe and the WWE champion are literally running a storyline from 2002. It's like the go-to face storyline too. I'm a family man, and my guy that I'm against hates my family.
I'm not a fan of their storyline either.
Oh,
I think
thank you.
I think
Okay,
it's pretty
good.
shit.
Also,
But it's giving us Joe v AJ, which is something I've always wanted to see. on
the one
WWE.
thing I
But
did,
Joe is WWE champion.
the one thing I liked though was Becky Lynch basically said,
100%.
by the way, Lana, you're part of the women's division, so I don't care what's happening between you and English and Rusev, but you and my division, you are my business.
I respect that.
Yeah,
No shit. No, that's brilliant.
I like this. I like sassy Becky.
Yeah.
Hashtag sassy Becky. Oh, I love sassy. Sassy Becky's the best.
SmackDown top to bottom is just brilliant.
SmackDown rates Raw in the first 5 minutes with Truth TV. Just saying. Truth TV.
Go spill your piece, Ricky. He's in a really pissed off mood. Let's just
Yeah.
let him.
Also,
I just don't like that. There's like
Raging Ricky.
They're doing a cheating.
I saw the
bit.
mixed
How
match.
fucking
I saw the
shitty
mixed
is
match
that?
challenge as well.
Come on.
In the middle of the mixed match challenge, Asuka even joined in dance time.
Mixed match just doesn't fit into any storyline. It's
No.
like it's literally just them blowing off steam.
No, no.
So
after
far-
the
No,
show.
but Asuka was dancing with Truth and Carmella. I'm all down
No
to that.
shit, it's for those people who know that like when you watch Raw on SmackDown, you're meant to get the more serious of the product. Then you watch the gimmicks, right?
Yeah, Truth
you
TV.
watch the gimmicks. Mixed match is a gimmick. It's like I'm gonna come in here and I'm really not expecting much other than them just being them, because that's who they are. They're just them being them.
But the one thing Aiden English also got as well is the reaction from the crowd going, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
when he dropped the microphone, and then also
crowd weirdly wants this angle.
they do.
They weirdly want this angle.
Because-
So fair enough.
Look, it's fine. whatever, I
Rusev
don't
and
give a
English should main event some sort of pay-per-view, because this looks like it's going to be the hottest feud towards the latter part of 2018. Rusev and Aiden English.
You know what the problem is? They're going to blow it off on a fucking mid-segment of SmackDown. It's going to be dumb. You know, 100% that's what's going to happen.
And
Yeah,
also-
because Raw will get precedent when it comes to like
Yep.
SmackDown has like
Exactly.
5 really good stories, and Raw
Exactly.
technically only has 1, but that one acts as 5, and they'll be like, no, this takes up half the pay-per-view because we're Raw.
I also
It's-
can't. I also can't believe how how over R-Truth. R-Truth's more over now than what he was in 2011 when he was a heel and had little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy.
R-Truth is brilliant.
I love R-Truth.
He is good on him.
Can you please can we keep him for like even longer?
Man's 46, dude.
So he's not going anywhere.
No,
He's
he's guaranteed a producer role when he retires.
one of their fucking staples. He's not going anywhere.
Vince loves him.
Ever.
No, Vince loves Truth.
No, what's up?
Like Vince
Weird.
absolutely.
Same with Zack Ryder now, I think, as well. Zach's actually on the line of things. He could dip from the company and have a very successful indie run, but at the same time, he's just such a product of the WWE.
But he's
right now.
main eventing.
As long as he's getting those Mattel figures for free, he's staying with the WWE.
That's what I'm saying. Like with him, he does all the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's all the other stuff with WWE.
He ain't
does now.
going
You know
nowhere.
what's sad about Zack Ryder? He's main event every week now.
Yeah, he is too, isn't he? That's like his show.
He beat Mojo Rawley and he beat Tyler Breeze in the last 2 weeks on main events.
Thrilling matchups, I'm sure.
Jeez, you're just off it right now.
I am. I'm really annoyed. Like I think it's just like.
Do you want to talk New Japan? No, go ahead.
No, I had my piece at the start.
He told
And it
New
was-
Japan at the start.
No, I had my piece at the start. It was fine. I'm happy. I'm not. I think I'm just a little bit like. I think everyone goes through this at some point. It's just like you're a bit oversaturated with wrestling.
Yeah, and like we said at the start,
There's-
it's this time of
there's-
the year because every 2 weeks is going to
There's
be
a lot.
something.
There's a lot
Yeah.
going on, and like I am looking forward to the go home next week for Super Showdown. We have our we're gonna have a very special predictions episode for Super Showdown as well for our on our YouTube channel.
Oh, by the
We're
way,
gonna get
also,
lit.
can we mention this as well? Because you know what's
Maybe, I
happening.
don't know what it is.
You know what's happening lunchtime next Saturday as well for us before Super Showdown?
Wrestle Rock.
Wrestle Rock.
Fuck
Oh my God.
yeah.
True, good moment.
We going?
Yeah, we can go.
I want to go.
It's at the corner.
Yeah,
Tickets on sale already?
$28.
It's not bad.
3 hours of bands and wrestling. And it's at corner, which is like a 5-minute walk from the G, so I don't see why
And
not.
we could pre-drink.
Yeah, good moment. Look, we'll talk about it off air.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway,
But we might mention the matches for Wrestle Rock on next week's podcast. Only because, fuck it, why not?
because it's going to be next week.
Yeah.
I'll be on the card.
No, you won't. Yeah. So look, I'm excited. I'm excited for wrestling, especially because it's coming out to Australia, which is like we rarely get that, especially a stadium show
Well, then
like this.
fucking show it then.
And then,
But I'm a little bit worn out.
and I'm going to miss you guys in November when I'm gone for 3 weeks.
We're going to international assault, which apparently Joe Janela injured, might not be coming out for Australia for international assault, which is disappointing.
That's sad.
Yeah. So apparently he's done something that's pretty bad. What else was on the dirt sheets that I shared with you guys this week? I think that was it.
I think it was the only
I think it
one.
was the Joe Janela thing and the Switchblade
Yeah.
being fucking over as fuck in New Japan. I can't wait. Yeah, I don't think Tanahashi's holding on to that briefcase till.
Oh yeah, I said it. I reckon.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
reckon
Yeah.
you push
I reckon it's going to be.
Jay White versus Omega.
They've had that match and it was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to main event Wrestle Kingdom, like
I
New Japan's pretty old school though.
I
They
still-
have to have a Jap guy in it.
I still think they want to do. You want to do Jay White versus Okada blow off at Wrestle Kingdom for like leadership of chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be the way to go.
But does Tanahashi drop it to anyone?
Maybe you just do. Maybe you get like
Maybe you
Tanahashi versus Omega out of the way. Because it's something we haven't seen for the title.
Yeah.
We've seen it before, but we haven't seen it for the
But at
title.
the Kingdom is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. I think like Tanahashi.
What's Ibushi doing right
I think
now?
this will be Tanahashi's like final
Oh, don't say.
Kingdom main event.
Oh, feels
He's done so many, and he's been
feels.
on the top for so fucking long.
feels.
And he can go and just walk off into the sunset playing bass guitar.
I don't think I'm ready for the day
yeah,
that Cena properly retires.
John Cena.
Yeah.
Actually, I do want to mention one more thing before we finish today.
Your boy's coming out to Australia. Yep. Go.
He's here already. Yeah, because he's here for the grand final.
Let's go find him. I want to touch him.
Yeah, he was here. He was there at the Collingwood game. I think.
Like Rousey.
Anyway.
Apparently Rousey's also going to be out in Australia too for a grand final.
Yeah,
too,
they're,
'cause
they're doing
she-
the press stuff now.
Yeah, she wasn't on Raw
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, and Cena's already here, I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to mention this too. Bound for Glory is bringing up ahead of steam as well. Melrose Ballroom in New York City, October 14th. 4 matches confirmed for the card so far. It's actually looking like a really good card.
Grand capacity of 200 people.
Latin American Exchange, which is Santana Ortiz and the original member taking on Homicide Hernandez, the original members of LAX, which is called the OGZ, and King, which is Eddie King, in a concrete jungle death match. I don't know what the fuck that is, but sounds good.
Sounds like a death match.
Austin Aries is defending his Impact World title against Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo, John Morrison, what do you want to call him?
That'd be a good match.
Ohio versus Everything taking on the team of Brian Cage, Phoenix, and Pentagon Jr. in an OVE rules match. So take it like it'll be a hardcore match because
Wait, Cage Ski isn't defending the X Division belt?
no.
Oh, okay.
So I think Sammy Callahan, I love Sammy Callahan. Yang and I have had conversations about how Sammy Callahan's become sort of one of the big names of 2018 when it comes to his stock going up, which I'll talk about in a future podcast. And Eddie Edwards is taking on Moose as well in a one-on-one match. So that should be good.
That'll be good.
But yeah, that's what I thought I want to talk about. But I'll mention Sammy Callahan in a future podcast because his stock has gone fucking up since
He has.
since he left NXT.
He's one of those people that's really played into his gimmick. And
Yeah.
hasn't let adversity hold him back.
Exactly. Like he said, I want to take out Chris Jericho on his Jericho cruise on social media a couple months back.
All right, call it there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ricky's done.
Is
really
Impact
out of
talk
it.
over? Are we done?
Ricky's just really out of it right now. We'll just, for the
Look,
sake
man,
of Ricky,
I'm
Let it
I'm
end.
burnt out on many levels.
just
And,
let it end.
Let it end. Yeah, fuck it. It's
All
over.
right.
All right, you can follow us everywhere.
Drink it in,
Australia
man.
God damn it. Australia Mania Pod, StrayManiaPod on Twitter and Instagram, Australia Mania Podcast
Not the band POD.
on Facebook and the YouTubes. You can follow me everywhere at Ricky Needs at RICKINEEDS, Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTubes. David.
You can follow me on Instagram, _ Yang Kong.
Nickel.
I am Tom Media on Twitter.
There we go. We're done. All right, we're out. Enjoy the week. Enjoy your wrestling. We'll see you guys for the go home to Super Showdown next week. It's going to be fucking awesome. Keep an eye out for our prediction video on our YouTube. Please go there and subscribe. We have something very, very special planned for the video and also something very, very special planned for the podcast feed. So keep an eye out. Subscribe because there will be very, very something. It has something to do with wrestling. It has something to do with Australia from a little while ago. Some of you may know what we're talking about, but it's going to be popping up on the podcast feed around the time of Super Showdown. So keep an eye out for that as well. And until next week, guys, have a good one. See you later.